going to call the meeting to order. We all rise for the pledge, please. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I do have one additional correspondence from a staff member, Joe Marvin. So can I have a motion to move that under our closed session for personnel?
So moved.
Second.
First, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Okay, and then our first business of order is a new hire. So we will start with that with Cassie, and then I do know that we have some individuals that were hired, but we weren't able to meet. So if you wanted to just stand up and do a very quick introduction of who they are, and then we will come out and congratulate all of you. And then you are free to leave. You do not have to stay. It does not hurt our feelings. I'm sure you have lots to do to get ready for tomorrow, or just actually don't do anything. Go home, do whatever you want. Go to bed early. You don't need to go back and do anything. But it does not hurt our feelings.
Good evening. I am here for the recommendation of hire for Mrs. Abigail John Charles. Abby went through a very extensive interview process with a large team of Discovery staff and employees. Her interview process included multiple interviews and a lesson with a small group of students that focused on literacy instruction. And we all concluded that Abby is just going to be a great fit to our second grade family and our second grade staff. Abby comes to us as a graduate from Hope College. She earned her bachelor's degree in elementary education and English. She has an extensive background in teaching and instruction. She comes to us with 6 years of teaching experience from Santiago Christian School in the Dominican Republic. And all of her references just gave glowing references, speaking to just what a wonderful teammate she is, a leader amongst the school, how sorry they were to see her go, and how wonderful she was with working with the staff and students. So we are looking very much forward to working with Abby this year.
Do we have any questions? All right. Can I have a motion?
I make a motion that the Williamson Board of Education hire Abigail John Charles as a teacher beginning with the 2022-2023 school year.
Second.
Is there any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Congratulations.
And then I didn't know if you want me
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
introduce. So Amy Rhines is our second hire. She came through the board in July. Obviously, we weren't able to be here. So she is going to be joining our kindergarten team. Again, comes with some great early childhood experience teaching in the Great Start program, and has been a great addition, working hard with our kindergarten team already.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Anybody else that you introduced? I'm trying to think who.
I'll put my name on it.
Yep.
Okay. I'd like to introduce Sonia Page. Go ahead. Be proud. Who we approved for hire in July. Thank you very much. She will be joining our 5th grade team, and she's coming from our neighbors to the east, where she taught Upper Alpha for 9 years. We're super excited to have her on the 5th grade team. So welcome. Officially.
And
I know you can't even see me.
I know. It's always right there. That makes me kind of do
So I'm
this.
very excited tonight to introduce the 2 members of special education that you did approve the hire back in June and then again in July. So So we have Mrs. Ann Felposh. She is going to be joining our high school team. She has 17 years of experience in a neighboring district and brings a wealth of information and support for the high school students. And then we have Rachel DeBrinpat. And Rachel interned last year at our ISD. She is going to be our social worker at Discovery Elementary. So we welcome you.
Okay, now we get to come and actually sing.
Thank you for coming.
Dave, I had the same question you did, because Adam said last June that we would meet at 5:30.
I know.
And I had it in my calendar with alerts for 5:30.
You don't.
I checked my calendar, I had it at 6, I couldn't remember.
But the board book said 6. So then
Okay, moving right along. This next part is for citizen comments. Do we have any citizen comments? Nope. Celebrations, Adam.
Yeah, so we don't really have an official story, but I think obviously the main celebration is that the new school year is getting started. Tomorrow is opening day for our staff to officially return, I guess I would say our instructional staff, because we have a lot of folks that have been here all summer. And then open houses on Wednesday and Thursday, and then the kids are back on Monday. So a lot of excitement for that, and I think, just that's our biggest celebration. I also want to take a moment just to formally recognize Brandon Weingartz and his team. The amount of work that they did, as you'll see here in a minute this summer, was truly impressive. Still some loose ends they're scrambling to finish up, but I couldn't have imagined any more efficiency in terms of the amount of projects that were undertaken, big things and small things. And so his leadership has been instrumental this summer. And we'll quickly forget about that as the kids come back and excited for the new school year, but it's kind of like the off season in athletics, like the work you do there sets you up for success later on. And he's just done a tremendous amount of things. And then also James Doyen, who was here, but his leadership of the tech department has also just as equally been instrumental. As I think secondary families saw this past week, the issuing of Chromebooks, which was a massive undertaking that was organized and allocated and all the agreements set up. The students even had their photos and ID markers on the case and on the charger. So all the little details, the branding on the cases, right? All that attention to detail, I think, is what kind of sets that apart, that initiative apart from how I've seen it done in some other places. And not just that, right? So it's hooking up the security system that we're installing. It's the new document cameras. It's upgrading the iPads and the PCs and breaking apart a computer lab. And so he's done that with just a few helpers in his department and some student assistants this summer. And so just very impressed with his work. So just want to make sure that both those gentlemen and their teams get their duly noted thanks as we kind of transition to having our students and staff, instructional staff back at the district. That's celebrations at this point. There'll be a lot more to come here in the next few weeks as our students return. Any questions that I can address on celebrations?
Okay, educational update.
All right, so I'm going to go up to the podium and I'll just go click through a slideshow. It's going to show some of the highlights of some of the summer construction projects. There's some before and after photos. And then, as you know, tomorrow evening, the finance facilities team is meeting, and Brandon will lead us through a tour of those areas and kind of get a more in-depth look at some of those upgrades. So, but I'll hit the bird's eye view here, overview. All right, so this was our one of two secure entrances. This is Kids Corner and Little Hornets. Also, obviously, preschool is part of that. The inspection, I believe, on the secure entrance is tomorrow. I'd say it's about 95% done. We're still waiting on glass for the door windows, but it's pretty close, and they have the furniture moved into both offices, and Rebecca and Jody are kind of getting settled in there. So pretty close to finish there. And then the most significant entrance project was Discovery Elementary. Not only the actual entrance itself, but then the flipping of the office, reversing of the office, and all the architecture work that had to take place inside of that to get that accomplished. That's also, I'd say, 95% finished. There's, again, some loose ends. They're still moving some things in there, but it looks really good. Some nice upgrades to some of the furniture as you walk in, but most importantly, it's the safety component. So what I want to emphasize with this is I think 3-ish years ago, we went to the community to ask for support of our sinking fund to include school safety upgrades. And the major promise that was made to the community, if they supported that, which they overwhelmingly did, is that we would accomplish installing these secure entrances in all our buildings. And so, while again, little loose ends here that got to get finished up with the construction, I think we can say that that promise has been kept. And we're looking forward to showcasing those as students return this week. So an upgrade that folks will never see, but obviously is important for a number of reasons, is the roof at Discovery. This was one of our largest, actually the largest overall roofing project we took on. It is about half finished. There's two sections that were being worked on by two different contractors. So the first section was the shingles. That is completed. There's still a couple rough spots they're finishing up, but for the most part, we can say that is accomplished. And then there's also a rubber section, which is on top of the cafeteria and the library, and I believe the gym as well. And that has been delayed due to supply chain shortages, which just a sign of the times. So maintenance is going to be working on how to get that rubber roof component installed while students, after students return to the school. That's going to be a bit of a planning planning challenge, but we'll work on that. Once the Discovery roof is completed, unless there's some unexpected problem, that will complete all the roofing projects throughout the district. So I think 14-15 was when we started all these with actually this building, which again, think back to the videos that were produced with water literally pouring into classrooms from the ceiling, and then it just went from there to 2022, summer 22 now. All the buildings have new roofs. So a lot of progress, again, essential to our facilities and our schools staying open and being safe, but something that most folks won't actually ever get to see. HVAC upgrades. This was a major component of our ESSER funding. The major project was actually being done at the middle school here, and if you walked in today, you'll see they still have all the welding equipment set outside to do the plumbing, to install those. That's probably the main part of the job, the most labor-intensive part of the job, as you can see from the photos. The actual new boilers are installed. So they're going to kind of continue to working through that. They know they got to go up into the roof and do the fans and different connections that are up in the roof between the ceiling and the roof, so that's going to take some more time. But they are on pace to have it finished here shortly, and new system will be up and running well before winter. Same thing with the Explorer Elementary HVAC upgrades, the heating and cooling system there. Most of the interior work has been done. There's still some exterior loose ends that need to be finished up, but that won't interfere with having students in the gym for classes, and the contractors will be able to finish that up without interfering with instruction. So again, 90+% finished for that project. As previously noted in some of the updates I've sent out to the community, the middle school chiller is delayed, again, just due to the availability of the actual chiller unit. So we're estimating October for that to be installed. The current chiller in the middle school is still working, as you can tell, but it is kind of being held together with glue and duct tape right now. So that was a good decision in retrospect. I know in the spring we were kind of considering, do we want to do that or not? And fortunately, we made the decision to invest in it. So I think this October is probably a good time to get that fixed, because I don't think the current chiller would have made it through next summer. It almost didn't make it through this one. It was close. There we go. So parking lot repairs, we invested $45,000 out of the sinking fund to do patchwork of some of the more notable issues in our driveways and parking lots. It's a Band-Aid. At some time in the near future, we're going to have to do a complete repaving of all our parking lots and driveways, which will be obviously a significant financial investment. But while it doesn't look pretty, it is functional, and it'll get us through the next couple of years until we can get to the point where we can do a complete repaving. Some of the more aesthetic projects, one of the major investments was the repainting of the community pool. And so the photo on the right there kind of shows the after. We're still going to be putting up some updated graphics, so it'll become a little bit more enhanced visually, but just the new paint, and there was a long time in coming. It was kind of a pet peeve of mine, so it looks much better now, and so really proud to have that done. It'll be a nice aesthetic upgrade when folks come into that facility. We're continuing kind of this war against colors that don't make any sense inside the interior of our buildings. So it's every year we chip away at it. So the random rust-colored paint as you walk into the athletic wing, not sure why that was put there, but we repainted that to the crushed ice, and it just fits in better with our school colors. So as you walk into the fitness center, it just looks better. We also did the staircase leading up to the weight room, and then we're going to have new graphics put up in that staircase too. So that's in it, because it was yellow. Again, why that color was picked, I don't know. Green and yellow didn't make any sense, but it's green and white now. So high school staff lounge, still a work in progress, but the installers have been in there, I think, the last week, so it's pretty close. This goes back to some of the surveys and work we've done with our associations, and one of the things that was brought up last summer was they'd like to see an upgrade to the high school staff lounge. So that work has been done, new floor, new furniture, new chairs, a couple little extras that we'll put in there to make that a nice place for folks at the high school to congregate, have lunch, breaks, etc. But looks pretty good, and should be wrapped up here in the near future. In this building, some aesthetic upgrades. Each year, the middle school's kind of addressed a couple classrooms or a couple areas of carpet. So this year they did a couple more rooms in the 6th and 7th grade hallway, and then the actual main office, the offices, I guess I could say. The carpet's been replaced, and it smells a lot better in there too. So nice upgrade. So more pictures of some of the classroom carpet replacement in the middle school. This was just done last week. So we had identified as part of our vulnerability assessment that some of the large glass classrooms at Explorer Elementary and in the Math Science Academy, the Math and Science pods, I should say, at the high school, while they look great with those big glass windows, there are some potential vulnerabilities. So one of the things, we wanted to keep that look, but we tried to figure out a way to make it more safe. So these graphics have been installed on those large glass windows, in keeping with the Hornet theme. And then actually this week, Wednesday and Thursday, I believe, they're going to be putting the safety film coating on the back end of those. So they're harder to see into the classroom, but then if you wanted to break through the glass, it'll have that same safety film that we have up at our main entrances, which would really hamper someone trying to get into those rooms.
But someone inside the classroom can see out.
Yeah, you can see out from inside, but it's difficult to see in, especially if you've dropped your shades and kind of make that backlit effect. So, security upgrade, but I think it's evidence of the work that was done as part of the vulnerability assessment to identify those areas.
Thank you.
It's a shame we have to do that because, those classrooms are beautiful, but sign of the times, unfortunately. So that's a quick overview. There's a lot of other stuff that was done, big things and small things. Wasn't included in here were some of the other safety upgrades, the night lock door barrier system. That was installed just today. Additional outdoor seating was installed in one of the outside of Explorer Elementary. So there's additional outdoor eating and classroom areas that was wrapped up. A lot more food service equipment, especially at the high school. So some nice upgrades there. The list kind of goes on and on. So there was a lot of work, big and small, that was accomplished over the summer. And again, just like to thank all those involved with making that happen. So that's kind of the quick overview. Like I said, tomorrow the committee will get a first-hand look at all those things and a more detailed analysis. Are there any questions I can address at this point of our summer projects?
Will you be linking this presentation to the sinking fund page on the website?
Yeah, so we'll have to pull apart this presentation and just put the items that were funded by the sinking fund up there, but we do that every year. There's always a fall update on the sinking fund page, so the budget is also continuously updated, so if folks are interested in seeing the result of the sinking fund expenditures and also that line item budget of the sinking fund that is that's available on the sinking fund tab under our district portion of the homepage.
I might recommend putting the entire presentation up as a news item if you haven't done that yet.
Yeah, we've talked about that. We got to flip some of the graphics on it so it's not the green background. So we'll do that, and then there'll be a news story that'll come out soon about all the summer work that was done.
It's great.
And then you might have saw.
There's already been one news story.
Yeah, well, we got some nice media coverage last week
Yeah.
of some of the summer projects, which was good. But then we'll also have kind of that static presentation if community members want to go in and take a look at that. And of course, we want our community in the building, so we're hoping that as folks come through, they notice those upgrades. Any other questions I can address on this?
Just
Thank
a
you for
big
being-
thank you to Brandon and the whole team. Like you said, this is kind of things that have been done behind the scenes, and summer is really when these projects get done for obvious reasons, that kids are in classrooms and they're able to get in and work their magic, and it truly is. All of this looks amazing. So excited to welcome everyone back.
All right, thanks.
So, superintendent's report, Kids Corner and Little Hornet, grant bonuses.
Yeah, so it's a part of some of the ongoing grants that Kids Corner has applied and received. Part of that is another round of bonuses to attract and retain staff at the preschool and before and after school programs. So it's also the only way that money can actually be utilized. So it's not really up for board approval because it's kind of earmarked for that purpose. So this is more just an informational piece that based on the number of days or the amount of time worked, your employment status, there are additional bonuses coming to keep the staff that we have there in place and hopefully attract some new employees. We continue to be limited in the amount of spots that we can open for before and after school care, as well as hours for the fitness center because we have a hard time finding employees. And so not unlike other employers in the area, but we're hoping these can attract some new folks and hopefully keep them around for a while.
Any questions about that for Adam? Upcoming presentations and discussion items.
No significant items of note. I think we have another meeting this month and then one in September as well. Looking forward to November. That'll be when the audit returns are, so kind of keep an eye out for that. The actual audit's taking place end of this month, but otherwise it'll be kind of business as normal, no unusual presentations at this point. I think we'll be in good shape. Sarah's got it.
You've got it. You've been through it. You're good. Okay, board committee reports. Sarah, policy.
So we met on August 1st, and all of these are up for discussion tonight. But a couple fun facts. We had asked, there was a board member that had a request to see how many policies we looked at, and it turns out Betsy was very did a very nice job of putting together, and you'll see in your packet, of all the policies that we have on our books and the dates that they were last looked at. So that was exciting, and so we've reviewed 52 policies just in this last school year, so all these stats are just for this past school year. 52 policies, of which 35 were updated, 13 of those were removed or had merged with other policies, and 4 new policies were added just this past school year alone. So,
I'm sorry, how many were added?
4.
4.
So we've been very busy. I think we meet pretty regularly every month, if not more than once a month. So we'll probably pick that back up in September and have another meeting. So thank you to Julie and Dave for all the hard work. And to Betsy for putting that together. Thank you so much.
I edited it, I did not create.
That's true, that's true.
Oh, no, I did not create it.
And one other thing that is not, that you won't have later on for discussion for policies is the Williamson Community Schools organizational chart. 2 things to look for is that 2 things were added to this chart. This is the chart that I'm speaking of. The district school nurse was added under the umbrella of the superintendent, as well as the district mental health specialist that is just under the ancillary staff, the 4th column over.
Any questions? Okay. Next is the Michigan Association of School Boards Conference Delegates. So I believe the assembly is in October. I think you have this in your packet, October 20th, but we do need to get them a delegate, or who our delegate is going to be by September 23rd, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I
Anyone?
think that's right.
Yes.
Okay, so would anyone like to be our delegate? Can anyone attend the meeting in October? It is at the Grand Traverse Resort.
We could also discuss it at the next meeting, which is at the end of August, so people need to look at their calendars.
You can. At very least, I could do it.
Is it just the one, is it going down Thursday and coming back Friday, or going down Wednesday and coming back Thursday?
No,
Well, it's usually their conference, so usually is like a
I just
Thursday
didn't know
to
if they had a
Sunday.
day.
I don't think you have to
Okay.
stay for that, but the delegate part,
the delegate part's always on the
It's on
first day.
Thursday,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
always on that Thursday, and then a lot of times, if you're gonna go all the way up, I mean, a lot of people will stay for the conference.
Yeah, I've done it the last few years. I've done both. I stayed for the conference and then I haven't. So I can do it again. You can pencil me in.
so I would go look at your calendar. I mean, this is
Yeah.
a conference. We do have some money. I am trying to, it seems like the last couple of years we have spent a lot of money on classes and doing things, which there's nothing wrong with that. But if this is something you want to do, we might need to figure out like overall cost, because I don't think we have the budget to send everyone to this and pay for the lodging and the weekend. So we might be able to pay for the classes, look into how much it is to attend, but we might have to figure out who best to send. So let me know if this is something you want to do, look at your calendars, and then we can go from there on choosing.
Do we also need to have a alternate, or is it just?
Yeah.
Correct,
Yeah,
Okay, we have to have both, okay.
yes.
Sarah, are you feeling like this is something you've done for a while and you're looking for someone?
I mean, if nobody else can do it, because I understand it's on a Thursday, middle of the, kind of middle to end of the week, so I can go if there is nobody else that is available.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking that I could do it, but I would have to leave to come back Friday evening. I have
So-
a thing in football game in Bowling Green on Saturday. So.
Yeah.
I have to be back by that time, so.
There you go. And you should. So, so look at your calendars. If this is something you can do, or if it is the conference that you want to attend, let me know. I just need to kind of budget and plan of where we're going with taking classes and doing this, in how we budget it out. So if you could just let me know what you're thinking, that would be helpful. Okay, I'm gonna set that aside. Next up, a whole bunch of board policies, so I don't know, Sarah, Dave, Julie, or Adam. I don't know who wants to do what, or what you want to say.
I'll go through and I'll start, and then anybody else can add. So starting with 5345, we just added the word vape onto that policy because it wasn't there before. Some significant edits done to 5350, as well as, I don't have a number on that one. Adam, do you know what the number is for the administrative tenure, or does it go with?
Administrative tenure is part of 55.
Part of that one, okay, yep, sorry.
The main part of 5500 is just the update to language on the number of years teachers need to be under probation before they can be advanced to tenure,
Yeah.
and some clarification on some language involving that. So it's
Yeah. And that's up to date with the
Current.
state policy.
yeah, up to date with
Yeah.
current state law.
We removed 7170 as well as 8080. And 8200, there were significant updates to, we added new or updated language from A all the way down towards the end of that first paragraph, where it starts in keeping with federal and state law. The next page, we updated language from A all the way to the letter E, as well as took out some legal references that no longer are applicable. We removed 8230, student records, which is 8940. We added, under number 3, we added B, which is image and likeness, to include photographs and video. This may look familiar because we looked at this last year. We're hoping that we could have it finalized last year, and it just, for whatever reason, we didn't get it ready in time, so this will be ready for this school year. I'm sorry, I'm going so fast. I'll pause here. Is there any questions so far?
I do have one on 8200, the drug-free schools.
Yes.
Under drugs are defined as all dangerous controlled substances determined by Michigan law, all chemicals with toxic vapors, alcohol, prescription drugs, lookalike items, blah, blah, blah. So does that include, is that enough to include, because I don't see in here where it actually says vapes, vapors, vapes, whatever they're called, which is where we added that, I think, we added that word on one of the other policies, so does that cover everything?
Yeah, I mean, the drug
That's
is what's inside of the device that's
Device.
being used to.
I think they made it broad so that it could cover lots of substances that may be put in a device such as that, not just tobacco, but other
Anything, everything.
things.
Okay, so that would be considered all chemicals with toxic vapors is what goes into the vape machine. Okay. Thank you. Okay, that was the other one I had at that point.
I have two questions. Are you
Yeah.
going to keep going? I was waiting until the end.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Okay. So I was curious about the 5,500 and the change in the number of years on probation. Is that what you guys are referring to, was the change in the state standard?
Yeah, it's been that way for a number of years. The policy just needs to catch up with
Okay.
state law. And that's also been our practice, so we're abiding by law in terms of the
That's what I
number of years.
thought, okay.
The policy just had fallen behind the our practice.
Yeah, we're still working through a number of those 1997 policies, and you'll see
I saw
a
that year
lot of
kept
these
coming up.
say that. And so, how many more did we have to go through, Adam?
84.
Yeah, you know that right off the top of your head.
I
Yeah,
feel like we
80.
should have like a policy meeting, like day, and just like from 9 to 5, just sit there and just,
We're getting
just
through
have like
it.
some mega section.
We've really whittled it. I mean, we're
Moving
doing
through.
pretty well.
My other question was on 8940, which was a very
Student
long,
records.
student records policy.
Yeah.
So, I don't have, so I guess I have a friendly amendment. Because when we, like the very first sentence in the policy should describe, everything that you're gonna find, and obviously this goes through, I don't know, the piece that I had a question about was G. So it's very long, but it just flagged my brain immediately, probably because I just filled out the form for my student. But it says that we may collect, retain, use, and disclose student education records consistent with state and federal law. But I'd like to add in conjunction with our directory information and opt-out form. Because, and it is contained within this, but I was alarmed, like it just set off, well, they're gonna ignore this 10 minutes of paperwork that I just filled out. No, just kidding, we absolutely do that.
Yeah.
So I wondered about adding that in the beginning, because if someone's,
I don't think you can not, so I guess I just want to clarify what you're saying. With the paperwork that you have to fill out for school, that does have to be filled out. What's just the
No. I'm saying this says the purpose of this policy, it'll be consistent with state and federal law, but it's also consistent with our directory information and opt-out forms.
Right, so you can, but you still have to fill out that paperwork. You can opt out of having your child, I guess, help me if I'm correct. You can.
But you don't have to fill out the
under-
form at all. Like,
Right.
don't even turn it in.
But some of the things that you are saying, within this policy, the school has the right to disclose. Our opt-out form says, no, I'm taking away that right, I don't want this piece of information said. So I feel like it's contradictory when you're not acknowledging that form is also part of the process up front. Am I making sense?
I haven't filled them out in a really long time, so I don't know.
Yeah, I
what the
wouldn't
form
either.
says.
I'm not questioning the
Caveat to
form,
the
I'm just
first
saying, like,
sentence.
this policy doesn't mention that I can opt out until I get to G. So it's saying we won't disclose any records consistent with state law, federal law, but it's also clearly consistent with our directory information and opt-out form.
I feel like, isn't the directory information part of
The state and federal law.
this state and federal law? So I feel like there's not, for me, there's not a hierarchy here. One doesn't trump the other.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So it's.
Yeah, I think I was
it's
thinking
for
you
what?
have to have that information or filled out. You're just saying whether or not you want to opt into the directory or not. But I think that form would still.
No, because
okay.
like one of the things I can opt out as a parent is the school is sending information to military recruiters. So
Okay.
that is, I don't know if that's part of state and federal law.
Yeah, it is.
I just did my FERPA training for the ISD today. So you can opt out of it. It's not considered part of the personal record to turn like to educational or military entities. So you would have, parents would have to go in and say, I don't want you giving this to a third party, second or third party.
Yeah, they kind of back up in terms of this. So this was prepared over last summer by our attorneys to include the form to marry up with the policy.
Right.
And there's also an addendum policy for parents who want to appeal a record, one of their child's records.
Right.
So this is all lined under the same umbrella that was constructed by our attorneys. the kind of like the choose your own adventure section of the policy was what are the pieces of information that the board will consider directory information. And so last year, for whatever reason, we didn't include image and likeness, which essentially is photos and videos of students. There was a separate form for that. So the idea here is we took that form out of the myriad of papers that parents get at the beginning of the year and just tucked it into the FERPA release. So it's all in one spot. So you get reference to the policy in the form itself on the first page, and then if you so choose as a parent, you flip it over and you can select from the menu of the things that you would like not to have disclosed. One of those being obviously the military recruiters. So that's kind of how the whole piece fits together.
So I guess is what Amanda's saying is, does she have to fill out that form at all?
No.
So,
And that's not what I was saying. I was saying as a parent, I want to know that information that's part of this policy, but I had to like look and make sure that was in there under G. But I guess what you're saying is it's included in state and federal law.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the way I think it would work for most folks, they're going to see the form first, right? And then it's going to refer them back. So if they want to learn more, they're going to go back to the policy to read that. But they'll probably be directed towards the policy by the form. So if there's questions on it, they can go to the policy or, of course, just call their school. But that's probably more typical sequence.
well, I was thinking that's where you were going, is that you did not want to fill out anything, and then you got to the end, and it says to opt out of this form.
No.
Hit here, and then I thought, well, then you would have just not even filled the form out and left it.
No, it just wasn't inherent in my mind that the parents' decisions were, or the opt-out form was not within the state and federal law.
I think one of the things that we have to keep in mind too is that in many of our policies, we don't have the procedures listed in the policy itself because we allow for the district to identify what that procedure is.
Right.
So it may be, I guess I'm fine with the way this is just because of the fact that not all of our policies even have that much detail, but at least a framework of what we want the district to follow.
Okay. And I'm not saying, there was anything wrong or anything like that. I just wanted it to be clear if a parent did want to know how that is a part of this policy, it's not evident until you.
Yeah.
You have to actually read it.
Yeah, you have to actually read it. And I was thinking that first phrase could, identify that better, but I think you guys are probably right, and that the parent's gonna look at the form first and then would read the policy.
Or they're going to become a zombie parent, like we used to just sign and sign until it's over, and then you just hand it in.
Hopefully not.
Well, thank you for helping.
After filling them out every year for 12
Any
years.
other questions
though,
on that piece? Up to that?
You start
'Cause I
writing
think
like,
we-
don't you
we
have
still
this
a couple
already?
The only one left is the 9300 policy that had significant updates to, and the regs that go along with it. And that's all.
All right.
Well, thank you to the committee, because this was a lot of work, and
Yeah, it's nice to.
You know, Adam makes it very easy on policy day, so thank you.
Well, and again, I do appreciate whoever puts this together. Betsy, it's very easy to read compared to what we've had in the past, so I thank you for that. Any other questions about these policies? Are we ready to move them for a vote next 2 weeks?
Yeah.
All right. If you have any questions, please let any of the members of the committee or Adam know. Next, we are going into closed session. So can I have a motion to go into closed session, and then Amanda will take us through a roll call.
Motion to go into closed session?
Seconded.
First Chris, second Sarah. Amanda, will you take us?
No.
Or sorry,
Deb.
Deb.
okay.
Deb. And then Amanda, will you take us through
Motion to
roll
go
call?
into closed session. Amanda, yes. Chris?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Deborah?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
And Nancy.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously to go into closed session.
And do I have to, do we have to let them know that we have a person going into closed session with us
We can reflect it in the minutes.
in the minutes? Okay. All right, we're going to, Betsy, are you staying here?
Yeah, you stay here, we can keep our stuff. Thank you,
I
Betsy.
have a book,
Thank you, Betsy.
it's not board policies.
There you go.
Even better. Even better.
Thanks. Have fun in here, guys. You get to go home. Yeah. I'll be in tomorrow. We can go get breakfast together, everybody. I'll meet you over there. Are you going right there? My intention. Oh. Okay. Remember last year I had crushes? Last year just, everybody was on crutches last year. What, were you? No. What'd you say last year? Everyone see right here the live stream video and audio. It'll be, oh. I should put restart. I changed that really again when the board ends. Was that in that, oh, that was in the school, in San Diego. No, we ended. I guess they don't. Oops. Information or not. I never got a letter from them. I mean, I remember proofing it 2.5, 3 weeks ago. And I asked the others, what time is this start tomorrow? What time are you getting there? Does it start at 8? She goes, I think so. I think it's 7:45. I never got the letter. And she goes, well, because we read it already. So I can't show them. Okay, well, in that case, I'll meet you over there tomorrow. Okay. Have a slow day in the office. Yeah. Yeah, I'll have my opening meeting on Assam, which, you know, I'm so formal. And, you have to open? Oh. But we, Anita and I will be disappearing at about 2-ish because 5,000 pounds of textbooks, 4 pallets of the reading, oh, excuse me, not Main Street, that's fine. Lawrence is being delivered tomorrow. So, ow. It's okay. 3 hour purchase it. 70 some lines on. Oh, yeah, so, anywho. Okay. Yeah, so we'll be checking that in tomorrow, so it's like, make sure it's all here, and then the teachers can take it. Thanks. Because like, Thursday is their PD on, no course. Wow. So we can't get any of the textbooks. Okay. All right. Well, thanks, see you tomorrow. And get that, get that picture of your fam on the porch, get it framed, that's really cute. Wasn't it? Okay, they're just sitting there. You walk around the barn, they're just sitting there.
Little Boris's arm
handbook?
Well, a significant part of it. All right, my turn for short one.
Thanks for sitting it up. So much brighter in here.
Yes, it is. Yes.
No.
It doesn't look like it rained, it was supposed to rain.
No.
And she's still rolling, I know, my hands are. I'm sure she has a hand dryer, which is way down,
So much brighter in here.
I didn't call the manufacturer and say, can you like turn
Yeah.
down the
Change
speed?
this.
Quite bright.
I wasn't sure. All right, can I have a motion to come out of closed session?
Motion to come out of closed session?
Seconded.
And Amanda, will you take us through roll call?
Amanda, yes. Chris?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Deborah?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
And Nancy.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
All right, moving right along, can I have a motion for our calendar, our consent calendar, or our minutes?
Motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. We do not have a roll call vote. We do not have separate action items. Our board goals are there. We've gone over our correspondence, and now it's time for citizen comments. You have a citizen comment? No? All right. Our board reports and requests.
Looking forward to seeing staff tomorrow at opening day. What time would you like us to be there?
Yes, yeah, what time?
So breakfast will probably be ready about 7:45, so anytime really between 7:45 and 8:15, just kind of roll in. It's kind of a soft start, and we'll just kind of kick it off when folks are ready. It's a pretty scaled back program from what we've had a few years. So, we've done STEAM activities and engineering stuff, and last year we had a murder mystery. This is going to be more succinct and kind of get folks back to their buildings for PD. So a little shorter, but Jim will make a good breakfast, I'm sure, so it'll be worth
Always
stopping
does.
by if you have the ability to do so tomorrow.
Do you want us to help, or is it being served?
No, he'll take care of it. It's just, if you can, it's good to just be there and just kind of be part of the
That's.
seeing people and welcoming folks back and just
Sure.
have to kick off.
And I do want to, I
Yeah,
mean,
opening
it's a very
day.
nice event,
Is it
it's
eight?
nice if everybody can be
7:45.
there. It
Seven-
is
between
very
7:45
short this
and
year, it's like
8:45.
maybe 45 minutes long, an
Yeah,
hour,
about an hour.
if that, an
Yeah,
hour.
I
So
need to
there
have
are
that.
lots of events that we are invited to, so if you
So
can't
then we
make
have
this,
Invites,
It's-
just fill my thing up.
so if you can't make this tomorrow, I would not worry about it. It's
Yeah.
gonna be a short period, and a lot
Well,
of
and you
times
don't have to stay the whole time. I mean,
Right, you don't have
they-
to stay the whole time, it's an hour.
you just need to come and hear Nancy speak.
No, very short.
No, you didn't tell him you're singing this year. You didn't
Dancing.
tell Adam.
We're dancing.
It's, you guys gotta have a soft shoe.
Dancing,
Soft shoe.
yeah.
Okay.
Adam's got his outfit already.
And where is it at?
High school.
It's at the
High school comments.
But again, it's very nice if you can come. I don't want to feel like, there's many things to like actually take time off for and come to. This is going to be very short, so do what you can, but.
Well, I think I'll just come for that egg bake that
There you go.
he makes.
That's
That
good.
was fabulous last year.
It's really good. I also just want to do a quick shout out to our maintenance staff and our technology staff and even our administrative secretaries. I don't know if I will have time to specifically call them out tomorrow, but knowing from personal experience how difficult it is to get any type of work done on your house or anything, the amount that they got done today, I seriously think maybe we should hire them out to move things along. You know, even our secretaries, you know, moving offices, like moving that huge space for both of them at Kids Corner and down in Discovery, working in some remote place and then having to put it all back. That's pretty time consuming, and our staff has done some pretty exceptional things over the last 8 weeks, or a very short amount of time. So I thank all of them. I also thank Brandon's spouse. I don't know, I need to do something for her. He, I'm sure, has been very busy. And when you're a spouse, that your husband's gone all the time, even he spent a good part of his vacation dealing with the air conditioner or
Yeah.
thing that was out.
Brandon always says if he's out of state, one of two things will happen: something will break or won't win a state championship. So.
Both of those things happen. So I just think we need to be thoughtful of those people, or those the individuals. So I just give a shout out to them and thank them. If there's nothing else, we can do a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Good evening. Good night.
Thank you, guys.
Don't forget to sign. If you can give that to me.
I did.
Oh, you did already?
Yeah, I think I might.
Okay, good.